and welcome back to the Crypto Hulk Show. Oh, yeah. We're going to look at today Ripple, XRP. Who's in control of this XRP? What is it? I mean, this whole thing is a setup. I'm going to go over this. I'm going to go over the 2015 Ripple settlement agreement. I'm going to go over what Brad Garlinghouse said the other day really briefly because we touched on it. But Brad Garlinghouse is not the CEO of XRP. Now, there's a lot of new people coming into crypto. And they hear about XRP. I mean, this random guy at the gym that I haven't gone to for like a month or two. I mean, I used to go there a long time ago, and then all of a sudden he comes up to me and starts asking me about XRP. I'm like, huh. The normies know about XRP. That should tell you something right there. Very interesting. We're going to start with that article. And I'm just looking through the comment section here real quick. But I want you to see what I have deep dived. We're going to touch on it. It'll be a small deep dive. It'll be like 10 minutes or something. We're going to go over this Ripple. Let me start off. My name is Crypto Hulk, not a financial advisor, not a crypto advisor, none of the above. Don't buy anything I tell you to buy. Don't sell anything I tell you to sell. Everything on the show is bullshit. Don't listen to a word I say. I'm high as fuck. For the past 5.5 years, every day I've gotten high. Heroin, cocaine, Demerol, LSD, you name it. I've smoked it, injected it, keistered it, like anything you can imagine. Injected it, whatever, 24/7. So that's the financial advice you get on this show. Okay. Now let's get into where's Brad Garlinghouse. Okay. We saw this article I showed you the other day. Let me show it real quick. Just so people know where I get this from. Right here, Ripple reality check. Brad Garlinghouse insists XRP isn't governed by Ripple and has no CEO. Brad Garlinghouse sets the record straight that XRP is decentralized and is not run by Ripple. So let's imagine this now. Time to hear the news, and then we're going to sit back for a minute and do some critical thinking about it. So now let me start off. Ripple is the government. All right. Ripple is governments. The top 5 families of the world. We're seeing a lot in France. Something about the French government. Somebody is using the French government to call shots because look, they're controlling the XRP ledger. The country of France, Ripple's first bank. We went over this the other day. I'm not going to show the articles. Ripple's first bank. Now, Ripple is a San Francisco startup. Let's think about this now. Critical thinking time right now. Ripple's a startup back in 2015-ish, 14. Their first customer, naturally, you'd think it'd be in the United States. Oh, no. It's Germany. This German neobank, which I believe the German bank is really the German government. I'm not going to deep dive into that one, but if you study the origins of Fedora Bank, it goes back to like German government agencies, and it's like a convoluted little mess. So it's the government hooking up with our government to have a banking system running on XRP Germany was one. So I think the power brokers of the world, one of them is the German government. Who's ever controlling the German government, that's the first power right there. The next one would be France. Because France bought Fedor Bank like the next year. Like 2016, Fedor Bank, was bought by France. Now that's interesting. We know that those little ledger devices comes out of France. We know that the owner, let's say, of the XRP Ledger Foundation is the French government. The France Court of Appeals controls the XRP Ledger Foundation. Now, that's very interesting. Now we're starting to see some things here and look at things that just don't make sense. Why wouldn't the United States? How is it France? And why did Ripple say they're having... Have you ever heard on why Ripple chose to give up control of this XRP Ledger Foundation and not let the United States control it, but rather France? Does that make any sense? No. Do you hear any other YouTubers or anybody talking about it? No. Just me. I don't know why. So there's that article. That leads us into this right here. Right about the time, right here is right after Ripple and Fedor Bank and this whole, not quite, Paris, France wasn't quite involved in it yet, but right about this time is when Ripple has the FERC. 123 Drewski, welcome to the entry level membership. So right about this time, we're going over history right now. And the bullshit meter, of course. Haven't quite hit the bullshit meter yet, and I probably should have. Here's your next page. You have the United States Department of Justice. I used to work for them back in the day when Crypto Hulk was young. Young, when I was young. Much younger. When I was much younger. I've worked with them when I was much younger. The United States Department of Justice had a criminal investigation against Ripple Labs. This is all fake. This is fake right here. The reason it's fake. Now, if you click on the blue highlighted in the first sentence, you'll see a settlement agreement, and it's got hypertext in blue. Okay. What we have here is the first. Okay, this is where Ripple hit the scene. This lawsuit here is so very, very important. No other YouTubers talking about this. That we know what they say. Oh, that's old news. That's 10 years ago. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything anymore. It's 10 years ago. The judge now already. Okay, let's let's listen to Crypto Hulk. I'm not trying to repeat all these dumbasses out there who say that Codius is dead. This court case is old. Okay. We have a 2015 court case where the Treasury, what does the Treasury control? The money of the United States, the currency. Let's get specific. The money of the United States is called currency of the currency of the United States. That's what it is. It's the currency. Whenever you can go look it up on any dictionary you want. When you refer to currency, it falls under the category of money. Money is a generic term, and currency is a specific type of money. Now, I know I'm going to lose some of you guys here. You're going to be like, what the fuck is he talking about? This is where, if you understand what I'm talking about, this program, you understand this whole thing is fucking set up. That's one reason why I have the XRP that I have, because I know that there's good government. This is government money. How do I know? This court case here, let's think. You had, this is massive right here, the Department of Justice. Now, who's under the Department of Justice? FBI. Oh, shit. The FBI investigated Ripple. Oh, shit. Because why? Ripple's an international business, aren't they? Yes, they are, Crypto Hulk. Anytime, when I worked at the Bureau, anytime a crime occurred across or in and out of state lines, whether it went to another state or another country or a district or whatever it is, anytime a crime left the boundary of that particular state, county, parish, republic, district, whatever it is, it becomes an FBI jurisdiction. And then it depends on what type of crime it is on top of that. We have here, so this whole thing where Gary Gensler was saying, oh, Ripple's this or XRP's that. Okay, that whole thing's fake. All that shit was fake. What we have here for brand new people, this is the Department of Justice, the biggest investigative arm of the United States of America. That's why I work for him, investigating. I mean, not me, of course. No. Far be it from me. You have, let me repeat, the Department of Justice with all its arsenal. And you had the Treasury. The Treasury. And then guess what? You had FinCEN. That's the investigative arm. That's the police, the investigators of the Treasury involved. And you had probably IRS and all these other things all involved in this court case in 2015 against Ripple Labs. And guess what? In the end, who got in trouble at Ripple? Nobody. This was a criminal case. Okay, criminal charges were pending to be brought up on Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larson, all these people. Because, so what did the government do? Our government investigated the fuck out of Ripple Labs, everybody involved, all the players. You know what they found? Ripple to be a, quote, money service business. And you know what? Our government, not Gary Gensler, not Judge Sarah Netber, no other channel talks about this because these people got shit for brains. Our government determined that XRP was what? Currency. Well, what does currency mean again, Crypto Hulk? Let's look up in the fucking dictionary. When you see the word currency, it relates to government money. Oh. Our government determined the XRP was currency. Well, Crypto Hulk, you only use the term currency when you deal with a government's money. That's correct. If you look that up in the dictionary, see, money is all kinds of shit. I mean, seashells. At one point, seashells in certain countries in the Pacific Islander area, seashells were considered money. But when you hear the term currency, it's government money. It's a type, whatever that government money is chosen to be, that's currency. That's what our government, not Gary Gensler, 10 years ago determined Ripple was a money service business, and the XRP was considered currency, though. I'm going to show you that in the research, in the government court document. I'm going to show you that here in a minute. I'm trying to show you the bigger picture first because we're going to deep dive really quick into the evidence, and then we'll be done. This will be over. No other cryptocurrency. Okay, now look, the Gary Gensler fiasco for 4 years. That was all fake. I called that from day one, fake trial. The Gary in 4 years never told us what a crypto was. You know that? Gary could never tell us what any crypto was. His excuse for Ripple was, well, I can't get involved in the court. Okay, Gary, fine. Then we got only 10,000, 20,000 other cryptos. You can't talk about XRP because it's in the middle of a court hearing. Okay, got it. That's great, Gary. Can you talk about the other 20,000 cryptos? And he'll laugh, looking like he just snuck a little dick sucking in at lunchtime. And he wipes his mouth. The Howey test is very clear, he says. And I'm like, well, he said that shit for 4 fucking years. Gary Gensler had 4 years of telling us nothing. I knew that court trial was fake. I said it every day. Did any other YouTuber? No, they did not. What did the other YouTubers do? They promoted this story. Oh, here's the latest on the Ripple trial. These motherfuckers it was so embarrassing. I told you from day one, it's a fake trial. I told you from day one. 4 years later, these motherfuckers, all these YouTubers and stuff kept playing the story. Well, here's what happened today. Hey, let's put Jeremy Hogan on the show. Hey, Jeremy, welcome to the show. Can you please give us some insight on the Ripple trial? And I'm like, wow, these people are so fucking stupid. This is a fake trial. I'm sitting there watching every day. But these other channels are reporting it. Oh, my God, twice a day. These other little channels they have their little shows, the 14-minute programs and shit they have on twice a day. They're reporting on the Ripple trial twice a day. John Deaton, can you tell us? John Deaton, thanks for being on this program. Can you give us more insight on the Ripple trial and what were the motivations? And I'm just like, wow, really? This is like a little NFL football game or something. Could you please tell us the pathway? This might happen if da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, wow, everybody's watching a fake trial. And then you got dumbasses who don't know that's a fake trial. Talk about this shit as if it's real. I think it's really funny. But okay. What happened 10 years ago is just the Department of Justice, just the Treasury, FinCEN, and all the other the Office of the Court. All these people are investigating Ripple. They look thoroughly at what Ripple did. Now, Gary Gensler, who was, let me ask a question. Who was with Gary Gensler when he decided to bring this lawsuit? Nobody, just himself. It wasn't even a criminal thing at all. That's why I'm telling you it's a fake trial. Like, with the 2015 trial, who was there? The whole fucking government was there. The investigative branches of the Department of Justice, FBI, everybody was fucking there. Everybody. But with Gary Gensler, who was there? Nobody. Do you not get this? These other channels never fucking got that. How embarrassing. This trial with Gary Gensler, nobody was there with him. He was by himself, and he wasn't even telling anybody what this is and what that is. He didn't say shit for 4 years. It was amazing, and no other YouTubers calling this out except me. And I'm like, come on, everybody. Please tell me you guys got more than shit for brains on these other crypto channels. Then, for people, well, even the haters are like saying this kind of dumb shit. Well, the trial must be for a reason. Wow. I'm looking around. I'm like, does anybody have any fucking brains on this YouTube shit? Like, for real. Or any platform. Does anybody have any fucking brains? Let me repeat this again for the people that are just not quite getting it. In 2015, the United States government already knew what Ripple was doing. Ripple and its company, now we're going to deep dive this, XRP2. It was originally called XRP Fund 2. Then it became known as XRP2. Let me show you what happened. So in 2015, the United States government as a whole criminally investigated Ripple. Let me tell you something. It doesn't take genius to figure this shit out, everybody. This is common sense. I got a common sense channel. These other channels have no fucking common sense. Common sense channel right here. Not even complicated to understand. In 2015, the United States thoroughly investigated Ripple Labs, Ripple, and everybody all attached, all its subsidiaries, Ripple XRP, the XRP fund too, and all shit. Okay, government, FBI, shit like that. Okay, got it. Like all these fucking people, right? They looked over all these documents and stuff. Ripple had to pay a fine because they failed to follow anti-money laundering rules for what banks, and what do banks do? Handle money. See, nowhere in the 2015 trial did the word securities come up. Securities never, ever, never came up. How is it? I'm just asking a simple question. How is it that this bumbling idiot, Gary Gensler, comes in, can't even tell us what crypto's a crypto and what's a security? He can't even tell us nothing at all for 4 years. Yet he decides to sue Ripple Labs for something that's non-criminal, and Gary has nobody with him to help him. There's no FinCEN there. There's no Treasury there. Nobody's there. There's no FBI. There's nobody except Gary Gensler himself. This first trial in 2015, they investigated everything about Ripple and their subsidiaries. And you know what they determined in the end? The Ripple was a money service business and XRP is a currency. That's it. Whatever buying and selling, incentivizing and all that, I'm just telling you, what did they find that was wrong? Ripple didn't have adequate anti-money laundering reporting. So Ripple was then ordered to investigate suspicious activity. So when someone wants to buy or sell the XRP or with cash, Ripple was supposed to report to the government suspicious terrorist type thing. That was it. The government already knows. They're buying and selling the crypto. In what universe does Gary Gensler call XRP a security? You see how all of you were fooled when you watched all these fucking stupid YouTubers? Okay. Are they even talking about this? No. They're talking about the trial. They're trying to get views. Crypto Hulk's the only one on Planet Crazy saying, hey, everybody, we got this thing called the United States Code. No other YouTubers talk about this. Oh, Crypto Hulk, he don't know. He's talking about a 10-year-old court trial. What does he know? Hey, everybody, there's a thing called the United States Code. And guess what? Crypto is not in it. There is no definition of anything crypto in the United States Code at all. How's the IRS taxing you? That's illegal. That's why I don't buy my crypto on certain. I might buy it on like a Kraken, but I'm not buying and selling. I'm just buying it. And then when that day comes, when they want me to report anything, I'm talking to my lawyer and I'm like, look, I'm not paying this fucking shit. Show me the United States Code where we have definitions of crypto laws and regulations. Send a letter to the IRS explaining them to show us where in the United States Code these crypto laws are so I can pay. Because right now we don't have any. So how the fuck am I paying a crypto tax on shit that's not even in the United States Code? What's the definition of crypto? It's not in the United States Code. And IRS guidance doesn't determine what a crypto is. United States Code determines what a crypto is. Oh, got him. That's what's going to happen over on my end. Okay, you do whatever you got to do. But so here we have a Ripple Labs criminal investigation case. The government finds no kind of security thing going on here at all. This wasn't even brought up. That whole Gary Gensler thing was fake, completely fake. Now, if you click on that blue hypertext, let me put this link in here in case somebody just came in to the show. I want you to see what's going on here because this XRP and these two court cases, very interesting. There is your link right there. Now, if you click on that thing that says a settlement agreement, now we'll get into it. If you look at the far right of your page, you should be in Adobe Acrobat. If you look at the far right of your page, it should show page 1. It shows the U.S. Department of Justice. And if you read on, it'll show you why we're in court here, why Ripple's here, who are the people involved, who is investigating this. Okay. Now let's scroll down. We're going to speed up. On the right side, you'll see page 5, and then page 6, and then page 7. If you look to the right side on page 6, your document will show page 1. I want you to go to paragraph 6. It starts off with this. On March 18th, 2013. Now we're 12 years ago in this. March 18, 2013, FinCEN, that's the Treasury Police. What does the Treasury do, Crypto Hawk? They deal with money, specifically currency. FinCEN is the Treasury Police. They deal with currency issues, not security issues at all. If you bring in the Treasury, you have a currency issue you're trying to clarify, okay? So, March 2013, FinCEN released guidance. Notice these are not laws. These are guidance. These are fightable. These are arguable terms when it comes to court. When you see something called guidance, that's not law. That's an interpretation of a government agency called FinCEN on whatever they're saying. So on March 18th, 2013, FinCEN released guidance clarifying the applicability of regulations. FinCEN, which is a treasury, basically released some kind of crypto guidance laws, rules. I'm using that term loosely, okay? This is on page 1 of the actual document. On the right side, you should see page 6. The guideline defines 2 categories of participants. Now, here we go. Here's where the rubber meets the road. FinCEN defines 2 categories of participants in the virtual currency ecosystem. Notice the term currency. Now, we have two players involved. We've got exchangers and administrators. That's the first line right there. Talks about exchangers and administrators. Now, this is on page 7 now at the very top. It talks about exchangers and administrators. Ripple would be the exchanger. Ripple acts as a currency exchange. Imagine you're in a building and you stay in that building. That person's called a money changer, okay? Now, the administrator, that's XRP Fund 2. Now is where I'm going to show you Ripple was not even selling XRP and never has, except for about 1 month period back in 2013. What? Okay. We're going to see this in this article here. These other YouTubers have no fucking clue. Let me explain this again for people that are new, because right now you're not able to understand what I'm saying. Ripple Labs only sold XRP for about 6 weeks, and that was back in 2013. That's the only time. Because what happened is Ripple started a subsidiary company called XRP Fund 2. They're the ones that put the XRP into the market and bought it back, and put it into the market and bought it back. Where did they get the XRP from? Ripple Labs. So what happens is this. Ripple is the, let's call it, exchanger. Ripple is stuck in a building. Imagine that, okay? They're stuck in a building. That's the exchanger. The administrator, Ripple started a company called XRP Fund 2. They are the ones that would go into Ripple's building, give them money so they can get XRP. Then the XRP, or Ripple could just give the XRP to XRP Fund 2. That's another thing they could also do, is the XRP Fund 2 people would walk into Ripple's Labs office. I'm just using this as an example. XRP Fund 2, in the court document will show this. XRP Fund 2 would go into Ripple Labs and come out with XRP. Then XRP Fund 2 would walk into Wells Fargo, walk into whatever bank and say, hey, I got a bunch of XRP. You want some for free? Can I incentivize you? Can I sell them to you for 5 cents a piece? Can I sell them to you for 0.0? We also found evidence XRP Fund 2 was selling XRP for like 40 cents when all of us were buying it at $3.40. So that is what was going on. Now, paragraph 7, if you look on the right side, it's page 7. The guidance defines an exchanger as a person, or that's Ripple. The guidance defines an exchanger, like Ripple, inside their building as a person or entity engaged as a business in exchange of virtual currency for real currency. Notice how they're using the term currency here? When you use the term currency, you're dealing with government money. Okay? Virtual currency for real currency funds or other virtual currency. That's what Ripple's job is, to exchange. They're stuck in a building and they're exchanging. Now, who are they exchanging it to? The administrator. See in paragraph 7 right here. The guidance also defines an administrator, that's XRP Fund 2, that Ripple started that. So Ripple's not the one who went into these banks and did all that shit. It was XRP Fund. Now, Ripple might have went in, but it was the XRP Fund 2 that gave them the XRP, took it back, gave it to them, they bought it back and gave it to them. That's what the XRP Fund 2 does, not Ripple. And I'll show you here in this court document. The guidance also defines an administrator, which is not Ripple. Ripple's the exchanger. The administrator of virtual currency as a person engaged as a business in issuing or what? Putting into circulation. Or it says here to withdraw from circulation. Ripple Labs would gift, sell, whatever it is to the XRP Fund 2, who then, so first person is Ripple, second person is XRP Fund 2, third person would be a crypto exchange, a bank, a savings and loan, whatever it might be, an investment house, Charles Schwab, whatever it is. Ripple Labs would get this XRP, like Brad Garlinghouse said, from the escrow. Ripple doesn't control the XRP, and they didn't make it. Ripple Labs created these people. So you've got Ripple Labs Ripple's the exchanger. It would exchange and give the crypto to XRP Fund 2, which is the second person in this deal, who would then go to an exchange, incentivize them and sell them. So that's the exchange is now the third person. And if you bought it from an exchange like you and me, that's the fourth person. That's not a security. That's insanity. I am shocked. No other channel, not even these crypto lawyers, these John, whatever his fucking name is, the Jeremy guy and the John Hogan guy, whatever his fucking name is. let's break this down. From Ripple to XRP Fund 2, then it goes to the exchange, and then you buy it. There's no way in fuck that the fourth person in this deal is buying a security. That is absurd. That Gary Gensler would even say that. What's even more absurd is these other people aren't even talking about it. These other channels, these other lawyers aren't even talking about this. There's no way the fourth person in this deal is buying a security. That's the dumbest fucking shit. When a product goes through 1, 2, 3, fourth person, and then you ship it off there, send it to me, we trade with it. How? That's not a security. That's insanity. This is not even talked about on any crypto channel. Embarrassing. Totally embarrassing. These fucking meatheads that have these little channels out there. Now, let's scroll down. Go to page 9. Look on the right side where it says 9. You have up here Roman numeral 3. It says violations. Capital letter A. Let me do a quick check to make sure I'm still online. Okay. Zoltar knew the case was fake, but no one listened to him. Poor Zoltar. He's over here stuck in his little box, ready to tell fortunes. Nobody's giving him any money. He's left all alone. Could somebody just give him a quota? Somebody put a quota. You want some money. Now, let's look. Page 9, Roman numeral 3, capital letter A, paragraph 16. Let's hear what the United States court says. Not my opinion. Let's hear what the United States court says. Ripple Labs is now I'm paraphrasing, but it's paragraph 16. It says here, Ripple Labs, and then I'm going to come in, is a currency exchange service providing what? Online real-time currency trading and cash management. Remember, the government investigated everything that Ripple is doing. If Ripple is doing something illegal with securities, then they would tell the SEC, hey, come over here. They found nothing at all. I'm showing you what they found. Ripple facilitates the transfers. So the United States government knows what Ripple does. It's an exchanger. Ripple facilitates the transfers of what? Securities? No. Commodities? No. Ripple facilitates the transfers of electronic cash and equivalents. Ripple provides virtual currency exchange. That's what Ripple does. And it provides that exchange for what? Transferable. When you transfer something, you're not trading securities, Gary, you cocksucker. Transferable electronic cash equivalents. Having a specific cash value. Okay. The government already knows how it's going back and forth with Ripple, with the money and the XRPs. The government already knows that. There's nowhere on planet Earth did securities come up in this investigation, because this is not what it is. See, Gary Gensler took this trial on upon himself. Well, Jay Clayton, but Gary Gensler continued this charade. The government did all these investigations. There wasn't, actually, Jay Clayton was the second, but we're talking about this trial right here. But I'm talking about the whole Gary Gensler thing was brought on by Jay Clayton, but that whole thing fiasco was fake, because I'm showing you right here. The government already knows what's going on. We're talking about currency right here. This is all about currency. Paragraph 17, what does it say? Here is the only time from March 6, 2013, follow the dates here very closely. March 6, 2013 through April 29th. So about almost the middle of March to the end of April, we're talking 45 days, okay? That's it. This is the only time Ripple sold convertible virtual currency known as XRP. That's it. 45 days. That's it. They stopped. After that, in paragraph 19, they talked about exchanger and administrator again. Exchanger and then administrators a second time. Let's scroll down now. Go to page 10. Page 10 on the right side on Adobe, capital letter B, paragraph 22. Let's read here. On July 1st, 2000. So remember, from the middle of March to the end of April, Ripple Labs sold the XRP. That's it. Now, the government found this in July. So April, then May, June. So 2 months, 2 months later, after Ripple stopped selling, what happened? 2 months later, what happened? On July 1st, 2013, Ripple Labs incorporated a subsidiary, XRP Fund 2, LLC. Oh, now known as XRP2. This was in the court trial, the 2020 court trial also. Now known as XRP2 LLC in South Carolina. Interesting. I thought Ripple Labs was out of San Francisco. Yeah, me too, huh? Let's listen here. XRP2 was created. What was it created for, Crypto Hulk? XRP2 was created to engage in the sale and the transfer of XRP to various third parties on a wholesale basis. XRP2, listen, XRP2 sold XRP currency. It was no longer Ripple Labs. They stopped April 29th, 2013. This is July now. For the past 2 months, XRP Fund 2's been doing this. They're the ones, XRP2, from July. So here's the deal. July 2013. Okay, let's put it like this. April 29th, 2013 is the last time Ripple Labs sold XRP. And that's it. After that, Ripple became the exchanger. And then the XRP2 became the administrator. And it says here that XRP2 sold and transferred, whatever they did, incentivized, all those fucking things, those magic things they did, to third parties. That's how you know they don't have control. If you're selling it to third parties, you've got to be the second party. So who's the first party? Ripple. Ripple sells, transfers, whatever. Remember, Ripple's stuck in a building. Let's just imagine that. Ripple is stuck in a building, and they sell it. XRP Fund 2 comes walking into the Ripple building as a second party now, second party. They take that XRP, then they go to third parties. Now you're seeing it. Wholesale, exchanges, banks, whatever it is, investment, payment companies, chipper cash, whatever it might be, right? Oh, now you're starting to see it. Ripple transfers, incentivizes whatever, the XRP Fund 2 people, who then give it to banks or an exchange, who then give it to you. You're then the fourth person in this deal. That's not a security. That's insanity for Gary Gensler to even say some shit like that. Has any other YouTuber been breaking this down? No, because these people don't think. Paragraph 23. What did the court find? On August 4th, 2013, XRP2, the court found 12 years ago, Jay Clayton, Gary Gensler, and all these YouTubers have no fucking clue. August 4th, 2013, the court determined XRP2 was engaged in the sale of XRP currency. Notice the word currency, that's government money. Have you noticed? Right here, everybody. This is where Ripple gets its authority to be United States money. They're calling it currency. They're selling currency to third parties. On paragraph 24, September 4th, 2013, XRP2 registered with FinCEN, which is the Treasury. Ripple registers with the Treasury as a money service business. Paragraph 25. XRP2 engaged in the sales of virtual currency to third parties in exchange for value. So that's what they did. Paragraph 26. Paragraph 26, if you look to the right, it's page 10. Despite engaging in numerous sales of virtual currency to third parties, XRP2 failed in anti-money laundering. So they got in trouble. XRP Fund 2 got in trouble as well because they didn't have anti-money laundering. XRP2, it says, now we're on page 10, number 26, letter E. XRP2, and I'm skipping, beginning to engage in the sales of virtual currency, by which time Ripple Labs was aware of a federal criminal investigation. Let me skip down. So that's it. Let's go back to page 10. Capital letter B, paragraph 22. So XRP2 was created to engage in the sale and the transfer of XRP, not Ripple. And in other words, here's the last paragraph. Here's the last sentence in paragraph 22. Listen to what the United States court says. Back July 1st, officially, 2013, XRP2 replaced Ripple Labs as a seller of XRP. There you go. There you go. It's all done. Officially. The court already knew. Gary Gensler's court, Jay Clayton's court already knew XRP2 replaced Ripple Labs as the seller of XRP. Let me ask you a question. How is Gary Gensler going after Ripple when XRP2 in 2013, 12 years ago, replaced Ripple Labs as the seller of the XRP? It wasn't Ripple, was not selling. Ripple was not selling XRP only from March to April 2013. That's it. How the fuck is Gary Gensler going to have a court hearing 7 years later, and then the court, and then that shit drags on for 11 years after that? That's so ridiculous. You see how fake this is? I'm using court documents to prove my point. There it is. So for brand new people, I haven't deep dive anything Ripple for a long time. Somebody asked me the other day, Crypto Hawk, can you deep dive something in Ripple? Well, I've deep dived just about everything that I could find for only the past 5.5 years. Not a big deal. You kind of run out of stuff after 5.5 years. So what I showed you utilizing court documents is the history of Ripple from 2013 up in regards to buying and selling and all that shit. They stopped doing that like April 29, 2013. You see how foolish all this is? That's one point. Gary Gensler is suing Ripple. They should have been suing XRP Fund too. Why didn't they sue them? Let me ask you something. Because I want to show you what they're doing here. Now we're getting into my opinion, and part of it's true, part of it's my opinion. What department of the United States puts currency into the population and takes currency out of the population? Who does that? Somebody answer the question. Now it's question and answer time to see if anybody is listening. Who does that? The Fed. Well, yeah, Fed gives orders, but the Treasury, oh shit, go Geo, FE9FV, the Treasury. Remember now, the Federal Reserve is not a part of the government. It's a private organization, isn't it? So it's not the Fed. The Fed is short for Federal Reserve, if that's what you mean. The Federal Reserve is a private organization. It's not the government. So that answer is wrong. It's the Treasury. Let me ask the question again, just so we understand this. What division of our government, the Fed's not the government, what division of our government issues and brings out of the population currency? And that's the Treasury. Now, what's the role of XRP Fund 2? To do exactly what the Treasury's doing. Oh. That's why when Ripple Labs gets busted, you don't see XRP Fund 2 getting busted, do you? No. When Gary Gensler and Jay Clayton sue Ripple, they should have been suing XRP Fund 2, shouldn't they? Yes, but they didn't. Why? Because Crypto Hulk's kind of thinking, is that XRP Fund 2 really an early Treasury baby? Meaning you get this thing up and running, this XRP project, spread around the world. You got to issue it into circulation, take it back. Now, the Fed does... the Fed is an outside agency. It's a private agency. And they can print money or order money to be printed. The Treasury orders the mints to produce the money. The Fed's kind of like the boss, a private boss. It's like a private contractor. Well, just like Ripple is. Remember, I showed you Ripple was a private contractor, subcontractor for the United States government. It was on the Ripple website. They took that down the next day. Crypto Hulk found Ripple on their website in their hiring section. Stated Ripple is a Maria Sangria. Hulk, nobody brings the truth and the receipts like you. You're the OG of digital assets. You slay every day. Well, Merry Christmas, Maria. Thank you very much there. Maria, darling. So that's what we got going. Ripple is that contractor, subcontractor. I found it on their website, and it was in their employment section, and I showed all you guys. This was like two years ago, and the very next day, zoop, right off the Ripple website, it's gone. They took that off. The Federal Reserve acts like a private contractor. The Federal Reserve is a private organization controlling our government. Think about that one. XRP Fund 2 is the one who puts the money into circulation and takes it out. That's the exact same thing the Treasury does. or the Federal Reserve orders it. They're not a division of our government. So in a way, the Fed is kind of right and the Fed's kind of wrong. But technically, it's not a division of the United States government. It's like a private contractor. And private contractors are not a division of the government. They work for the government or inside the government, but they are not the government. But they pretty much act like they are. The Treasury. Government money is called currency. Now, let's think of what happened to Facebook. Facebook had a cryptocurrency called Diem, D-I-E-M. And the governments of the world shut it all down. Now, let's think about this. Facebook came up with a form of money. All the governments of the world, they were terrified. And they shut down Facebook. Let me ask you a question. Why would Ripple be allowed? The government calls Ripple's XRP currency. Currency is government money. Currency is the name of government money. So let's think. You got XRP Fund 2, which I think is going to be taken over control by the Treasury, and the XRP itself. Ripple Labs might have control over an escrow account, but I've been telling you for 5.5 years that Treasury is going to come in and take over control of all this shit, including XRP Fund 2, because that, in my opinion, is the Treasury acting, putting in and taking out of circulation. Greg Kidd, one of the first people at Ripple, Greg Kidd, he came from the Treasury. Rosie Rios, listen to this. Rosie Rios was the treasurer of the United States. She quit and went to work for Ripple. The treasurer. Are you seeing this? Greg Kidd, who kind of started Ripple with all these other people, he came from the Federal Reserve. Rosie Rios was the treasurer of the United States, left and went to work for Ripple. What is that telling you people? What is this telling you people? All these coincidences, right? How the Treasury, who was at the Ripple trial? The Treasury with FinCEN. Why were they there? Because XRP was considered currency. Oh, shit. Now, let me ask you a question. Why did Facebook's Diem, or Libra, it's called Libra, L-I-B-R-A, then they called it Diem, D-I-E-M. The government was hot to get rid of that quick, huh? Boy, they got rid of that Libra Facebook coin real fast. But Ripple, our government called it a currency. And banks are buying it and selling it, and have been, maybe amongst themselves. And think about this. How is, now this is, you got to think about this now. How is Ripple hooking up, making relationships with banks if it's phony money? See, no one ever talks about this, huh? None of the news channels, none of the other crypto channels. Now, because sometimes we have to just do some thinking, critical thinking. How is Ripple in the same room? How is Ripple partnering with the Bank of International Settlements, the bank of all the banks in the world? How is Ripple a partner? How is Ripple having a closed-door meeting with the Bank of Brazil? How's Ripple partnered with Santander, Wells Fargo, Bank of New York Mellon, America's oldest bank, Ripple partner? How is Ripple a partner of 300 banks and financial institutions that utilize their, quote, funny money, XRP? How's the government would shut that down, surely, wouldn't they? Yes, they would. How is the government allowing Ripple, Western Union, banks? How's Ripple in with Ripple Russia, Ripple China, Ripple Singapore, Ripple Indonesia, Ripple Turkey? We can go on and on and on and on. Ripple, we have the web pages. Crypto Hulk Show is the only channel to have the web pages. How is all this possible? Is there any other crypto that's being utilized for payments like this? The answer is none. Not even Stellar. Stellar's not in there with all these people. Stellar's got a good little crowd, don't get me wrong. But I'm talking about the biggest. How's Brad Garlinghouse in a room with like the top most powerful 10 financial organizations in the world, and they're sitting at a big round table like a dinner meeting, and Brad Garlinghouse is in there kicking it? How is that? That doesn't make sense, does it? No. That's how, look, I don't have all the answers. I'm not telling you I have all the answers. What I'm showing you are questions you should think about. Is this really real? How's a startup, think about this, how is a startup fintech get the CEO guy named Brad Garlinghouse, and how is a startup way back in 2016 and stuff? It's only been around for like 2 years or something, right? Think of a business. Think of a business, and then in 2 years, there's Ripple Russia, Ripple China. They're sitting at roundtable meetings with the World Economic Forum. How's this little startup doing all this? Is it really a little startup? No. There's something way, way more deep going on here that people don't see. But Crypto Hulk, the prices. But Crypto Hulk, it's only $2.20. Like, but Crypto Hulk, the price. But Crypto Hulk, the price. You ever heard of dark pools? No. Is that a pool that needs to be cleaned? Oh, okay. That's right. You're homeschooled. Okay. I don't have all the answers to all these things, okay? What my show does is bring up a lot of questions that make you think. When we go over cryptos, I don't care what the price is. If it's low, I'm buying it. What we do on Crypto Hulk channels, we go over evidence, facts-based channel. I'm not saying I have the answer. I've never said that. I got the questions. I've got a lot of questions. That's what I do. I bring up questions on my program. Very good questions to think about. How is this happening? Why is that happening? How did Brad Garlinghouse get in a room with 12 of the most powerful banks in the world? If XRP is a shit coin and it's just some startup company and Brad is just a kid from Kansas, how's that possible? I haven't even been invited to my city council bank meeting. This Brad Garlinghouse guy's in the world fucking top 12 people. How the fuck is that? I'm not going to give you the answer because I don't have it. It's just something that doesn't make sense. And when something doesn't make sense, what do we do on Crypto Hulk Show? We have to hit the bullshit meter. That's what we do. King L7 says, excellent job breaking down what you see. We all appreciate you and the work you do, as well as sharing your information. Appreciate you, Hulk. If Ripple acts like the World Bank, also World Bank labeled XRP as a currency, what does that make Ripple? I won't say World Bank. You know what's funny, and then we're going to wrap this up, is these other channels will talk about the creature from Jekyll Island, right? And that's way back in the 1930s when the government secretly formed the Federal Reserve. And these other channels are talking about, oh yeah, the creature from Jekyll Island. And they secretly hooked up the Federal Reserve, and they had a meeting, and the day after Christmas or Christmas night at like 1 a.m. or something, and nobody showed up except these senators, and they voted it in and all this stuff. And you know what's funny? Is those same dumb motherfuckers on YouTube or other media have no idea that this is the next Jekyll Island. And I'm showing you right now with the Ripple Russia, Ripple China, all this stuff. Rosie Rios, leave it. Like this whole thing, this is a government op. This isn't Ripple. This isn't a cheerleading squad. That's why people are like, but Crypto Hulk, you always liked XRP. I still do. But the more I stay in the crypto and study, this is the government. This XRP is a government op to make it look like it's a company. The people are all actors, whether they know it or not. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they're pretending. Maybe they all know that this is a government operation to usher in a new creature from Jekyll Island. This is what this is. These people hold Ripple conferences and want Brad Garlinghouse to show up, and they want to sell you tickets to events where you can sit down and break bread. I'm just like, are you serious? Oh my God, you're selling tickets for me to go to a Ripple event, knowing that Ripple's the government. And looks like we're back. Thank you, YouTube, for turning off the channel. When you get too real, YT's got to pull the plug. That's their little censorship thing. YT gotcha. Too much. So, Diddy throwing a Ripple party next. Oh my God. So there you have it. I don't have all these answers, and but what I'm trying to let you see, that's why it very well could be Ripple, the XRP, maybe all the ISOs. Maybe it's just XRP, but maybe it's not. Maybe all the ISOs the government takes. That's why it would be foolish. There's certain social media people that all they have is XRP. And all they do is, well, I'm going to back the truck up. For 5.5 years, you're backing the truck up. Come on now. Come on. Wayne says FYT fund. Oh, shit. Hold on. Wayne's got an FYT fund. Thank you very much, Wayne. Tax-free donation from Wayne. Then we got Hillbilly Tism. Thank you, Hulk, for all you do. No clap cheeks. No sign holding. Contact me at my social media page on Instagram with your payment, evidence of payment. You can go to my X page. Try the X page. If it's not working, then contact me on the Instagram with your evidence of payment. And I'll reach out. We'll reach out to each other, and you can join the $500 club. But I'm showing you this just so you realize don't overbuy if you buy Ripple if you buy XRP only, you're so fucking stupid. After the evidence I'm showing you, I really feel the XRP, see, it's all going to the treasury, like the signs, like it's showing you, right? Rosie Rios goes from the treasury to work at Ripple all of a sudden. Greg Kidd and the other, what is the gentleman's name who works for the Federal Reserve? Number 2 in charge of the Federal Reserve. Somebody help me. Ripple executive. Michael Barr. Let's look that up. Here we go. Here's why I'm telling you, I don't have the answers. I have the evidence, but not the answers. Another Ripple executive. He's number 2 at the Federal Reserve. Look right here at this article. What's the title say, Crypto Hulk? I'm juggling sharp knives, Crypto Hulk. I can't look. What does it say? This article's dated July 2022. Former Ripple advisor Michael Barr will supervise the Federal Reserve. Let me repeat this again. Former Ripple advisor Michael Barr will supervise the Federal Reserve. This is Blockworks' website. I'm just reading off the title to you. So you got Michael S. Barr goes from Ripple and is number 2 at the Federal Reserve. He will supervise the Federal Reserve. You got Rosie Rios, who used to be the treasurer. She currently works at Ripple. You got Greg Kidd, who used to work at the Federal Reserve. He was working at Ripple. Then you have a 2015 court hearing we've spent a lot of time on, showing you how the government is calling XRP currency. And what is currency? Government money. Facebook tried doing it. Boy, they sure shut down that project real quick, the government. Oh, no. That won't be currency. They shut that down. But why? But Ripple's allowed, and then Ripple's allowed to be used by banks and trading, and very interesting. I don't know how all this transpires in the end. I would get my hands on XRP and these ISOs. Very much so. I own about 3 of them, maybe 4. Maybe the government takes them all. Maybe they don't. I don't know. But I'm not seeing any other cryptos that have like this much connection. So you want to get a portion of XRP. It's probably kind of late now, but I'm not saying it's going to be the most expensive at all. I'm just there's something very, very interesting what's going on here. A lot of government shit going on with this XRP thing. Very suspicious. Okay. Not any kind of a rug pull by any means. When you have Ripple hooking up with all these banks and shit, something's going on. So that's what I wanted to show you. That is our deep dive for today. If you look below the channel, you got the Caleb and Brown link. If you want to buy any cryptos, buy it from Caleb and Brown. They use Fireblocks. Ripple uses Fireblocks. Ripple has something called the Ripple Labs US dollar stablecoin. Ripple uses Fireblocks, the same that Caleb Brown uses. Ripple uses Fireblocks. Caleb Brown uses Fireblocks. I want to use Fireblocks. So that's why I go with Caleb Brown. And then my Crypto Hawk lawyer is down below, right below the screen. Click on that. When the government makes these laws, you know they're not going to want you to be rich, because we'll be richer than Nancy Pelosi. There's no way she's going to have that. So these motherfuckers are going to try to figure out ways to get you away from your crypto. That's where the Crypto Hawk lawyer comes in to wrap your crypto and protect it. So these dumbasses that run the government can't steal your shit. Okay, that's what they're going to do. It's not how much crypto you buy, it's how much you keep. Some people think, oh, I'm going to go buy 10 million of these and buy this and buy that. And it doesn't matter how much you buy. You can keep buying. I know people in the $500 club. This one dude, I think he's got like 500,000 Ripple XRP right now. So that's at least 1 million. And when Ripple goes back to where it was, this guy will have like $2 million just in XRP. I'm not telling you his whole portfolio. He was rattling off some numbers. And I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, if this dude wanted to cash out, he probably had like $1.5 million just in XRP. I think he's got 500,000 HBAR. 500 to 750,000 stellars and shit. Like, he's got a lot of shit. But I can't remember if he has the Anderson advisor lawyer. But I'm gonna tell you guys, it's not how much you buy, it's how much you get to keep. You got to get that in your head. Protect your crypto. Well, Crypto Hawk, I only got 5,000 XRPs right now. Well, what happens one day if they're worth $1,000 a piece? Let's do the math. Where's my fucking calculator? Let me go to the calculator. Yeah, I'm probably not doing a PM show today, so just letting you know. Let's see, 5,000 times. Look at XRP goes to $1,000. Not a big deal, right? $1,000. That's 5 million bucks. So 5 million. Now all of a sudden, you're like, well, CryptoHolic, I only have 5,000 XRP. You know, I bought them when they were 50 cents a piece. So, you know, I got 2,500 bucks in this, and the lawyer costs about that much or whatever, maybe. So, you know, I think I'll pass. Now we'll fast forward. XRP is worth $1,000. You got 5 million, but Congress passes a law and says that XRP is not for retail. It's only for institutions or corporations to own. Oh, you didn't start your corporation, did you? No, you were going to save that money to buy more crypto, and you weren't listening to CryptoHolic. Said they're going to pass a law that kicks you out of crypto unless you're a corporation or institutional. Yeah, well, you didn't incorporate, remember? You were going to save that money and buy more crypto. So that's what's going to happen to you. I'm just letting you know. Don't get mad when it happens. Just accept the fact that you fucked up. Robert Driscoll, a little money for Zoltar. Thanks, Hulk, for paying it forward. I am out of here, and I got some guests coming over from Sacramento, and I will, after they leave today, find news. I mean, I strongly doubt I'm going to have a show at 5. Strongly doubt. But once they leave, I'll study and try to find a great program for tomorrow morning. So that's what's on my schedule, and I'll see you then.